You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
There you go. It's usually they say Christmas keeps on giving. Well, the Scottish Premiership keeps on giving tonight. What a night for football. And we still got more to come tomorrow night as well. But before we go on to the game that we're going to be focusing on, joined by Ethan as always, looking back at the game tonight, Scottish Premiership, St Mirren won, Hearts nil. In the Scottish Championship, a big defeat from Queen's Park. They get beat 1-0 over at Ross County. And if you went to the Challenge Cup quarter-final, you were in for a long night because it finished 2 each, and Airdrie won 5-3 on penalty kicks. So there you go. But we're here to talk about a big win for St Mirren and a big loss for Tycho chasing Hearts, and it's wide open as ever. 1-0 to St Mirren tonight, and they must have, Stephen Robertson must have had the show on in the dressing room before the game, because we were saying to everybody that St Mirren are basically down, not out, but they've not performed since the cup final. And wow, what a performance tonight! If it wasn't for the Hearts goalkeeper, St Mirren could go on about 3 or 4 easy tonight.
Yeah, exactly that. They were excellent, St Mirren, and were well deserving of their win. It should have probably been more, and I think the performance sort of summed up why St Mirren are the lowest scorers in the Scottish Premiership this season. They had, it was right in front of me, they had 21 shots, 5 of them on target, over 2 expected goals, and then it takes until the final minutes for that Miguel Freckleton header from the corner, which is an excellent header from him. I believe that's, it's his third goal of the season now. For him, he's been probably one of St Mirren's standout players all season, so an excellent moment for him. It was a really good cross by, was it Declan John as well, who puts in great delivery, probably one of the best crossers of a ball in the league. But it all obviously turned on that red card in the first half. Very similar, not very similar in terms of how the red card was awarded, but the last time these teams met at Tynecastle, when Benny Beningame, who obviously brought into the Hibs, I should say that, the Hearts on 11 for the first time since that red card. But this time it was Craig Halkett who got sent off, and it meant that Hearts had to play another 60 minutes a man down. And this time they couldn't win 2-0 like they did in the reverse fixture, and St Mirren kept the pressure on, made it difficult for them, and got their deserved goal in the end. So a massive defeat for Hearts and the hopes for the title. Obviously, they were 6 points clear going into tonight, with a chance to go 9 before Celtic, Rangers and anyone else play tomorrow night. But now they're only 6 clear, with 8 teams having the chance to narrow it down to just 3 points, which is not a lot at all. But I think what we've seen over the last 3 sets of games is that it's going to twist and turn. That I think a couple of games ago, when Hearts drew at Tynecastle against Celtic, that it was a really good result for Hearts, and Rangers were the beneficiary. Then at the weekend, just there, Rangers dropped points, Hearts and Celtic win. Then obviously to start this one, Hearts have tripped up and lost, and it gives Celtic and Rangers the chance, with possibly even Celtic having the most momentum of the 3 of them, crazily enough. So yeah, it's been a mental season, and when that goal went in online and throughout various WhatsApp groups and whatever, I've seen not only Celtic and Rangers fans celebrating the goal, which I think is credit to what Hearts have done this season, the fact that other fans of other clubs are celebrating the goal against them to benefit their teams, but also Motherwell fans feel like they've maybe got an opportunity to creep back into this challenge now, because if they were to win tomorrow at Dens Park against Dundee, which you would probably be pretty confident that they could do, then they're only 8 points behind Hearts. So, yeah, it's a crazy old season we're having, and this victory for St Mirren really opens the title race up even more, going into the final, 13 games after tomorrow. But a big win for St Mirren, and Stephen Robinson and the players have got to take a lot of credit, because they were excellent despite missing a lot of chances, and Alexander Swallow making a lot of good saves, as you mentioned. They kept at it and got a deserved winner in the end, a good header from Freckleton, and a massive 3 points, which Stephen Robinson and St Mirren were really needing.
Now, I don't know about you, Ethan. I didn't want to say this to you, right? But I was saying to myself before we came on air tonight at 7 o'clock, I don't know if we'll have a lot to speak about on the game, but that's why I'm sat here, not on the park tonight. But I don't know about you. It felt like more of a kind of cup tie than a league game. It was kind of end-to-end scuff. I mean, we'll get into the singing off and the penalty incident in a minute. But I mean, St Mirren, all in all, were the better team tonight. For the first maybe about 25, 30 minutes, Hearts couldn't get out. St Mirren was penning them back, and as well, Mangron, Gogic, in fact, early on in the show, early on in the programme, actually, I asked you about were you surprised that nobody came in for any Hearts players. I mean, looking at the St Mirren game again and looking at Gogic, I'm surprised no one has took a punt on him, because he's quite a decent player for any side in the Premiership. But I mean, I just felt as though St Mirren were brilliant tonight, and they were up for the game.
Yeah, exactly that. And even before the red card, around the half an hour mark, St Mirren were creating more chances. The only shot actually in the first half that Hearts had was a Kazrides shot from outside of the area, which was straight at Shamal George. So yeah, they didn't create enough, and St Mirren were on top even before the red card. Of course, that helps. And yeah, I think Alex Gogic was brilliant. He obviously played his part in that offside goal, which I think he was clearly offside for when he headed off the post. And then I think it was Marcus Fraser who put in the rebound header, which was really for a good finish, but obviously, unfortunately for St Mirren, offside. But they kept at it, and they kept plugging away. And then even in the second half, I think St Mirren were even more dominant, probably possession-wise, up to 67%. They had 13 shots in the second half, to only 8 in the first half. 2 shots on target, of course, one of them that header. But yeah, Hearts, I think Derek McInnes sort of sacrificed the attacking power that they had as soon as the red card happened. He obviously takes off Alexandros Kazrides, who's probably their most creative attacking outlet, and replaces him with Frankie Kent. Obviously, when one of your central defenders is sent off, Craig Halkett was, then you've got to replace him, and he'll be a massive, massive blow for the game next week, because obviously it's the derby a week today, and he will not be taking part in that. So that's 3 key players at the spine of Hearts pitch, Hearts starting 11, you could say, and Lawrence Shanklin, Cammy Devlin, and Craig Halkett that will not be playing a part against Hibs next week, and that'll give the Hibees a lot of confidence going into that derby, that they can do the double against their old rivals.
We'll go on to this comment in a minute about McInnes. McInnes never made the changes too late on the game. Before we get to that, it's going to be a busy bit of the show with incidents as well. Okay, so let's start off with a Heart singing off. Obviously, Halkett get sent off. What was your take on that, Ethan? There you go. That's
sorry.
as quiet as I've heard all season.
Yeah, I forgot that. I didn't meet myself there, but the Sky Sports picture, perfect timing. It's shown me. And yeah, it's a clear red card. There's not really much complaints that Hearts could have. Craig Halkett didn't complain. Was really well pressed from the two St Mirren strikers. First, Mikael Mandron pounces on the mistakes. Stuart Finlay dilly-dallying on the ball a little bit, and then it looks like Craig Halkett's sort of bailed his centre-back partner out of trouble with a good tackle. But Lundulu's putting the pressure on him, and then he takes a big touch, and then the young debutant in midfield, Jacob Devaney, comes in, and he gets there first. Halkett is second to it. He's taking a touch into the penalty area. He's definitely going to get a shot away. I don't think this is like the Austin Trusty one a few weeks ago. I think this is probably the most clear red card in terms of goal scoring opportunity that you're ever going to get. So Craig Halkett didn't complain. The only maybe sort of discussion point on it and why it was checked by VAR was if Mikael Mandron had fouled Stuart Finlay, but I think I thought that would have been quite soft and would have been getting Hearts off the hook a little bit there. And the crazy thing is with Hearts is there's now 6 red cards in the last 5 league games. They've received 3 of them. The opposition received 3 of them as well. That being 2, obviously, at Tannadice and then Austin Trusty as well. So, yeah, it's been crazy last few games for Hearts. They've obviously came out on top when they've been the man down the last 2 occasions, but this time was a step too far. And, I didn't expect them to, when they went down to 10 men this time around, I just, in an away game in a difficult atmosphere, I just didn't expect them really to be able to go and get a winner, and St Mirren played it really well. They didn't let them grow into the game at all. They kept pressure on them, and credit to Stephen Robinson and his players for pulling the 3 points out, which is a massive 3 points for them as well, because we spoke about Kilmarnock closing the gap to them at the weekend with their win over Aberdeen. So, yeah, massive 3 points for St Mirren, and now maybe they can have confidence and start looking up the table.
Is that a bit concerning for Derek McInnes and the Hearts fans who the last few games Hearts discipline has been, and I suppose if you want to win titles and all that, you need to be a bit more, you would say, streetwiser.
Yeah, I think possibly. I think it isn't a great look getting 3 red cards in 5 games. It's not going to help, and you can't keep doing that. Like we speak about, I think people have made the point about Rangers not playing too well under Danny Rowland, obviously grinding out the results. I would probably say the same for Celtic and Martin O'Neill. That you can only do that for so long before luck isn't going to fall your way, and you're going to drop points. You're going to draw a game. You're going to lose a game. And that would be to an even greater extent when you're getting red cards on a regular basis. So, yeah, it's something that I think Derek McInnes will try and address. But, yeah, Craig Halkett can't have any complaints there. And I think, he's just unlucky that he takes the touch. He obviously has to make the challenge. Otherwise, Devaney's going to go through and score. And I thought he was really good, actually, on his debut for an 18-year-old. I thought he adjusted to the Scottish football really well. And I think he should be a promising loan signing and one for the St Mirren fans to look forward to for the rest of the season.
Okay, so let's get into the controversial incident tonight. I don't know where you stand, Ethan, on this one. Penalty. I said to the guys in the chat, it was a carbon copy of the. Well, I text Robbie at the game. Robbie was at the game, and he says it was a carbon copy incident of Saturday night, and I kind of totally agree. A few people that I was speaking to during the game said it was just outside the box. What about you, Ethan?
Yeah, I think it probably is just outside the box, and it's just that fine margins and stuff going your way that I talked about, and it felt like it was going. I know Hearts got the red card, but no one is going to try and disregard that for being a red card unless they think that Mikael Mandron felled Stuart Finlay in the build-up. But yeah, I think just outside the box. I think Harry Milne gets really lucky. because it's a silly challenge on Jaden Richardson, I think it was. He doesn't really, he's lazy defending, he sticks a leg out, and it's just that kind of thing that the other day it was obviously just inside the box for Hearts to get the penalty, and tonight it was just outside the box so St Mirren didn't get the penalty. I'm not disagreeing with any of the decisions, I just think it's just kind of fallen their way, but obviously, and when that kind of happened and St Mirren kept wasting the chances that came their way, you kind of thought, oh, is it going to be just one of those days for St Mirren where they can't find the back of the net, and Hearts do somehow manage to get away with a point? But no, I think St Mirren deserve what they got tonight, and Derek McInnes and Hearts' terrible run at St Mirren Park continues. That's 3 times they went there this season, lost on penalties in the League Cup, then drew the second game, and now they've lost the third game. So yeah, that is not a place that they look forward to going, and they'll be hoping they obviously don't need to go there again. But in fact, they won't need to play. I don't know if they'll need to play St Mirren again, actually, unless obviously unless St Mirren make a late resurgence for the top 6, which even puts past Stephen Robinson. But let me double check how many points they are actually behind the top 6 at the minute. 10 points. So yeah, I think that would be really, really difficult for St Mirren. And what would be 9 games, they would have to claw back 10 points on Aberdeen, and obviously earn more points than Aberdeen and Dundee United in that time. So yeah.
Ryan makes a good point. Thanks for watching, Ryan, on YouTube. And I was saying this to you, even that the Hearts fans, or even though fans are able to get carried away, but it's funny how they were saying in the Champions League tune, and I never heard getting the second calf as well. Obviously, Hearts fans are entitled to get carried away, but I think it's a wee bit early for saying that we're going to win the league and we're going to do this in the Champions League. What do you make of this comment coming in as well? Thanks for watching, guys. As you, I may as well take this opportunity to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it now. It is the Scottish Football Zone, and we'll be back tomorrow night as well, looking at the other games in the Premiership. Yep. About this, makes a comment here saying Celtic have basically slipped away in the past, well, you would say couple months. They pick up again. Martin O'Neill's come in. Basically, the contributor basically was saying that Celtic's been over the course before.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point to make, and I think I've been pretty strong recently that Hearts were my favourites and Celtic my third favourites. But if you were to ask me right now, I could possibly have completely flipped that because I think Celtic have found a way under Martin O'Neill to win every domestic match apart from the one at Tynecastle, and I've made a big case about that it wasn't in Celtic's hands to win this league title before tonight, but obviously it's in their hands again. They could go 3 points behind Hearts. They still need to play Hearts. It's obviously in Rangers' hands as well, but I think there's concerns over Rangers' creativity and being able to have a striker that's going to score chances. Obviously, they brought in Ryan Nadiri for that record fee for the third division German club. So yeah, he's going to be coming in with a big expectation to score goals, because Yusuf Chermiti, although he's improved in recent months, doesn't look like he's going to find the goals that Rangers need. Bojan Miovski's not looked like that either. They've obviously sold Danilo, I think now. It might have been loaned, but I think they've sold him. So a lot of responsibility on those guys to find the back of the net. Same with Celtic, you've got two, I would say, two fresh faces up front, or 3 fresh faces up front for Celtic. Thomas Chimanchara, who we've seen score already, but then again they've got Kelechi Iheanacho, who you have doubts over his fitness. But I would say the other thing is for Celtic, they've got 3 players adding to that squad which we've not seen kick a ball yet. So I think Celtic are possibly got the momentum at the minute, but whether that means that Martin O'Neill will be able to work the miracles that he has done so far and win the league title, then is another question. I think it's still very much in every team's hands to go and do it. But yeah, it makes a good point, and I think a lot of people after tonight will be looking maybe at Celtic as the favourites.
Yeah, Motherwell are playing the best football in Scotland at the moment. I really have. It's been really showing the way for the other teams. Scottish football needs to change. It's not all about the money. It's how they play, and that's it. I mean, okay, we've not got maybe the best league in the world apart from this season, the best teams, but yeah, it's not all about the money, and as I used to say in the show a way back, teams who start using their youth academies more.
Yeah, exactly that, and Kieran makes a good point that it's not really. I think we have this we fall into this false narrative that Scottish footballers can't play football, they can't play out from the back and stuff like this. But of course they can. The professional footballers, and if you give them the confidence and the belief that they can do it, like Jens Berthelascu has, then there's no reason why they can't do it. And that's what we've seen this season. Players like Stephen O'Donnell and Paul McGinn, who you never would have branded as that type of player, but they've been absolutely excellent. And obviously they're adding Stephen Welsh back into that mix. They've probably been the best. I don't know what you would say, the best defensive team in the league, I'd say, this season. Certainly recently, I think they've conceded the joint least amount of goals along with Rangers. They've also got the most clean sheets, I believe. And when if Motherwell were to win tomorrow night, then, as I said, they would only be 8 points behind Hearts. And I know that's a big margin, possibly. No, is that right? 43, 46. No, can't count. Yes, 8 points, but I'm doubting myself. 8 points behind the league leaders Hearts. But if they are to maybe drop points over the next couple of games against Hibs and Rangers, which very difficult games, each in their own right, and Motherwell keep winning at the rate they have done. Motherwell have only lost one game in the last 15, and it was to Rangers by the odd goal at Ibrox. And I think people will remember that day Motherwell were denied, which could have very easily been a penalty. And Motherwell have got to go to Dens Park tomorrow, which will not be an easy game, but I have them as favourites. They've obviously got Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup, and then they've got Rangers at home, and Rangers will not be looking forward to that game at all. They obviously went to Fir Park early in the season, were lucky to come away with a point. I think Motherwell could be favourites for that one. I think they possibly get the most momentum of any team in the league. It's just that they've started a little bit behind the rest in terms of a title race. I'm not going to put Motherwell in the conversation yet, but if they can take points off of the teams above them and keep winning at the rate they have been, then there's no reason why Motherwell can't do something incredible this season. And I hope that they invite themselves into the race, because a 4-team race would be even more incredible than a 3-team one.
Over the season so far, Ethan, when we've gigged the shows, you're like that, yeah, Hearts played well, Halkett, Finlay, Banangame and Shankland obviously Shankland was out of the team, but I mean, to a man, St Mirren were excellent tonight, and they kept Hearts at bay for long periods of that game.
Yeah, exactly that. They obviously, you can say it's easy to do against 10 men, but St Mirren, sorry, 3 weeks ago at Tynecastle, completely struggled to do the same thing and lost pretty comfortably in the end. I know St Mirren were really unlucky that day. They had the ball in the net. But yeah, they were excellent and thoroughly deserving of their 3 points.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's heating up now in the title race. You know, it's a lot of people say for ages, you know, it's Celtic or Rangers or Celtic is going to win the league. Now it's Hearts Hearts as well, but obviously we were talking before the game about Shankland, about Declan being out the team, and maybe that came back to bite them tonight. And are obviously going down to 10 men away from home. A very tight St Mirren Park, you would have to say, because Celtic's found it hard there. In fact, Celtic got beat there a few times as well. Rangers, I think Rangers has got beat there as well. So it's not an easy place to go, St Mirren Park, Ethan.
Yeah, it's certainly not, and that's why the St Mirren fans have, although the overriding emotion tonight will be one of jubilance. We talked about the lack of wins they had recently, and to end that run against the league leaders is excellent. And they'll be hoping to take a lot of confidence out of that. And they've beat every big team this season in 90 minutes. Maybe apart from, actually, they might have not beat Rangers. They certainly got a result against Rangers, I think, when Russell Martin was the manager. But they beat Celtic, they beat Motherwell, they beat Hearts, obviously, tonight, and on penalties before. There's no team in the league they can't beat. They just need to be a little bit more consistent and take their chances. That's the main thing. And you know, they got lucky tonight in the sense that they created so many chances, because I feel like on most occasions against Hearts, if they had 11 men on the pitch, they wouldn't have gave up that many. But they found it at the back of the net, and that's all that matters. But they need to start scoring on a more regular basis, because I think you've seen tonight why they're the lowest scoring team in the league, and why it's been such a struggle for them to get points. But I still think there's a chance that Kilmarnock, keep getting my teams mixed up. Don't know what's wrong with me tonight, Michael. There's no reason why St Mirren can't do something positive this season in the league. Of course, the season's going to be remembered regardless because of winning a national trophy, and that was excellent for St Mirren. But they want more. They want to go again and go for European football again, because Stephen Robinson's made it something that's a regular occurrence in Paisley.
Yeah, no, Kieran said I hope Celtic win it, but football is a strange game. It certainly is a strange season as well. Thanks for watching, Kieran, and don't forget to get my wee sales pitch in here. Subscribe to the Scottish Football Zone channel. Ethan, I said before the game to you about St Mirren's confidence must be down because they haven't played well and they haven't won a game. Maybe I'm wrong since the cup final. I'm not actually sure. But with the league leaguers coming to town and they dominated that game, well, that gives them a bit more confidence to kick on this season.
Sorry, Michael. I completely missed your question there.
No, okay. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, Kieran. Yep, Scottish Football Zone. I was saying that we were talking about confidence, right? And I was saying that if you winning's a habit, but also losing's a habit as well. But I suppose like when Hearts come to town tonight and they get a big win like that, and they're trying to get in. Don't forget, St Mirren will get into the top six. Strangest thing could happen this season, but could that give St Mirren a bit more confidence as well?
Yeah, I think it could. I think it could give St Mirren more confidence. That's what they need. Beating the best team in the league, or the league leaders, whatever you want to call them, is not going to do anything but positive for your confidence. And I'll get those players that have maybe been a little bit low on confidence since the cup final win, and the new players that came in that played a big part tonight, that this is a project that they want to be a part of under Stephen Robinson, and that nothing's out of the realms of possibility. As you said, we've seen ridiculously strange things happen so far this season, so there's no reason why St Mirren can't strive for a top six. But I think I do always say that for St Mirren, but I think it's maybe unfair expectation to set on them with their financial muscle, and it just shows how much of a great job Steve Robinson's done that I keep putting them in that conversation. I think the first priority for St Mirren has got to be to stay in the division, because Kilmarnock, they might have turned a corner with that win over Aberdeen, although it is Ibrox up next for them, so not an easy game at all, and I'd imagine they'll be out without their signing of the window, Finlay Curtis. So yeah, St Mirren will just need to pick up points on a regular basis, and there's no reason why they can't make this a decent league season at worst, on top of what will be remembered as a memorable season regardless, because of winning the League Cup and in the fashion they did it.
I'm just looking at Hearts next 6 games, Ethan. Obviously, they have next week, next midweek in the league. Then they go Ibrox, and then they're at home to Falkirk, who it's no easy feat, because obviously Falkirk beat them in penalty kicks. But I mean, they should have beat them in 90 minutes that night, Falkirk. And then they're at home to Aberdeen, away to Kilmarnock, and home to Dundee. So quite a few difficult games there.
Yeah, there is, and that's it. There's no easy game for them. They've not got a home game against Livingston, which you would say is the easiest game in the league. No disrespect to Livingston, but factually is the bottom of the league. They are the worst team, and the team you would prefer to play at home. There's no opportunity for them to bounce back. They're straight into a derby where Hibs have the bragging rights at the minute, and the recent bragging rights, of course. Hearts have the greater bragging rights across the season, but they have the recent bragging rights of beating Hearts, and of course the fact that Hearts have dropped points at the weekend, because although everybody in Scottish football says, oh, it'd be excellent if Hearts could win the league, a lot of Scottish football fans support Celtic, a lot of Scottish football fans support Rangers, and a lot of Scottish football fans support Hibs. So there's a lot of people secretly preying on the downfall of Hearts, and Hibs will be probably top of that list, because they would, I'd imagine most of them would hate to see their rivals lift the Scottish Premiership title. So they would, I think, want nothing more than to beat their rivals next Tuesday. I did actually see some Hibs fans that were saying conceding that Hearts winning the league would be a good thing for Scottish football, but I think if you asked the majority of the Highbies, they would completely disagree with that statement.
Yeah, no, that's about like Celtic fans saying Queen's Park. It would be good to see them winning the league, but maybe not Rangers. Helicopter Sunday, I'm not so sure. Second half, I don't know about you, Ethan, right? But taking notes as I do during the game for the show. The only short Hearts had in the second half, I might have missed something in the first half, but Braga having a shot on goal in the second half, and like that was it from Hearts tonight.
Yeah, they didn't really look like causing Shamal George or the St Mirren defence much problems at all. And I know it's difficult with 10 men and conceding you're probably one of your what I would say was your best attacking player on the night in Casridas. It's going to be difficult, and it was difficult for Hearts, and I think they'll just need to learn, and they will, obviously, that they can't get red cards on such a regular basis and keep getting away with it. And St Mirren punished them tonight and dominated the second half, and you were just watching it and thinking, oh no, St Mirren are going to fail to score again. But they done it. They got that goal, and what a massive goal it could be for not only them, but Hearts, Rangers, Celtic, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, because there's so much to play for across the league from top to bottom this season.
Obviously, let's speak about the St Mirren goal. Freckleton got the goal, and he got up well. Good header.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good header. He directed it well, and he's been one of the St Mirren standouts this season. From what I've seen and what I've heard from St Mirren fans, he's been a really great bit of business, and He's been solid at the back, and maybe one of the positives, and for what most of the part of the season, apart from the cup run, has been pretty negative. But yeah, I thought St Mirren, the players showed up tonight, and despite missing some key players, Keanu Bacchus, Mark O'Hara, they showed that they've still got quality throughout the squad, and that even some of the January signings, I know a couple of them come off the bench. I'll need to remind myself as to who exactly did come off the bench. But
Donnelly, yeah.
Yeah, they've got quality throughout the squad. Let me just double check. Yeah, Etete, the striker who came on, and then I think it's Jake Young, unless I'm mistaken his name, who obviously signed as well, the other striker, but sent off in his debut against Dundee at the weekend.
Yeah. What about the obviously we spoke about Gogic and a few of the players in the team, but talk to me about the boy Phillips, because every time I see him, whether it's on highlights or kind of like live on the telly or else, if I'm at the game, he always impresses me, and he had a few chances to score tonight.
Yeah, Killian Phillips has been a good player, and an excellent bit of business that St Mirren were able to get him after last season, because he was a really, really good player last season on loan from Crystal Palace, and they got him permanently last season. He started goal scoring really well, if I remember, in the League Cup, and he's sort of not found that form since, but neither have any of the St Mirren players, and that's been the problem. They've all sort of upped I don't know what the word would be, but not taking responsibility for finding the back of the net, and that's the problem. But if anyone can step up for them, you've seen it at Celtic, Benjamin Negrin, despite maybe being one of the most strangest footballers I've ever seen, in the sense that he doesn't always look like he's having the best game, but he always pop up by a goal. It seems that you just need someone from any area on the pitch, if you can't find consistent goals across the team, to keep chipping in, and that's what St Mirren need. They just need someone to hit form and find the back of the net, whether that be one of their strikers, whether they're new boys who's come in, or even one of their midfielders like Killian Phillips.
It would be weird for me to say St Mirren won tonight, but the goalkeeper was Swallow from Hearts. The man of the match was Swallow from Hearts, because, as I said at the top of the show, if it wasn't for him, St Mirren could have won that 2 or 3-0. And by the way, if you're a Hearts fan, you would be quite, maybe not happy tonight, but quite happy that you've got 2 decent goalkeepers at Hearts.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Swallow had a good game again, and he's been a really solid pickup. And I did remember him from playing a lot of games in the Bundesliga, and someone with that level of experience is always going to be capable in this league, but sometimes it doesn't plan out that way, but it has for him, and he's been really solid. Obviously, he got that red card a couple of weeks ago at Dens, but he's bounced back from that. Craig Gordon stepped in and done what he needed to do while he was in the starting 11. Obviously, made that massive save at Dens Park, and then was pretty solid against Celtic, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this guy's come back in and he looks solid, and I completely agree with you. I think he was probably up there for man of the match. He'd probably certainly Hearts' best player. I think it was 4 saves he made, so yeah, not bad. And especially for a goalkeeper that probably hasn't made too many saves this season or faced that much action as they did tonight. So yeah, I think he's been a good recruit from Tony Bloom and Derek McInnes, and I think he'll have to have probably more days like this if Hearts are to go on to win the league, because it's excellent quality across the league, and almost any team in the league I think is capable of turning over one of the big boys on their day.
And I know it's a bit early to say Ethan, right, because they've not actually reached the split yet, but if Hearts actually come, say like they come second in the league, do you think that all this learning this season in terms of getting men sent off and going away to places like St Mirren and not seeing the game out, or
Yeah, I think it will do. I think it's not a one and bust for Tony Bloom. He said it's a 10-year project, and he looks to win the league in the next 10 years. I don't think anyone expected him to less than maybe 10 months into the season that seasons aren't even 10 months long, but less than 10 months into him really making his stamp on Hearts that they'd be in this position, but. They'll take the experience from it. Derek McInnes will take the experience from it. A lot of the players will, that they don't sell on, that obviously, because that's the model of the club. They buy players cheap and sell them on and then reinvest that into the squad. So, yeah, I think Hearts are showing that they're going to be a team and a force to be reckoned with in the future. They're not going to be here. I don't think this is just going to be a one-season flash in the pan thing. Obviously, it's difficult because the revenue that Celtic and Rangers generate compared to them is obviously a different level. But there's no reason why Hearts can't keep going at it. Union Saint-Gilloise, they did win their first league title in, I think it was 90 years last season over Club Bruges, who we obviously watched against Celtic last season and completely take apart Russell Martin's Rangers at the start of the season. They're still top of the Belgian league at the minute, going for a second consecutive title. So, yeah, this is a long-term project at Hearts, and I know the fans will probably be disappointed if they don't win the league, but I think if they were to finish even second, it would still be a remarkable achievement and one that should be celebrated and championed. I know that may sound stupid to say, but it's not often that we have teams finish sort of in between Celtic and Rangers. It doesn't happen very often. So, yeah, and I think that would be the step to show that Tony Bloom means business and that Hearts are going to be a force in the future. But I think they're still well within a chance of winning this league title. Just because they lost tonight, I don't think changes that. But it's just the two matches they have to come up next, because in a couple games, what would be, I think it would be it wouldn't be next. It wouldn't be. I think it would be maybe 10 days time. By the time they've played their next two league games, they've obviously got they don't play in the Scottish Cup, but they've got the Scottish Cup weekend next weekend, and then the weekend after they will have played two more league games, and no, I think it'll be. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and work that out. I'm trying to work out something that doesn't matter, Michael. But anyway, in a couple games time in the league, what I'm trying to say, in a couple games time in the league, they could be third place easily, especially playing Hibs and Rangers, and yeah, so that's obviously concerning. But even if they were to drop to third, there's no reason why they can't still do it. So yeah, I think they've just got to believe in what they've done so far and take this as a one-off, because most teams, if Celtic and Rangers got a red card in the first half, and most of the time they don't win the game, so it's not an easy thing to do, but obviously they don't want to make it a habit, and that's what it has become recently, getting red cards.
Especially away from home as well. But what I was saying to you as well, that Derek McInnes because Celtic qualify for the next round of the Europa Cup, he would be happy. So would Danny Rowe, with Celtic playing catch up on the Sunday as well. But because Hearts get beat tonight, I bet you Derek McInnes is kicking himself because they've not got a game on Saturday. They've got to wait for another week to take on Hibs. Okay, it's at Tynecastle, but it's against your biggest rivals in Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's it, and that's a weird that's the weird build up for this game, that a couple, even the weekend there, you think Hearts are in a really good position. They've just beat Dundee United to extend their league lead back to 6 points over Rangers after they dropped points, and then Hibs. On the Sunday, Hibs, after being on a pretty poor run of losing to being thrashed by Falkirk and dropping out of the cup, they get a positive point against Rangers, which gives them a lot of confidence. And now Hibs will be fancying their chances to win that game. the weird dynamic is that Hibs aren't in the Scottish Cup even at this early stage either. So two of the biggest, I would say, two of the five biggest clubs in Scotland aren't in the Scottish Cup for the last 16, which is something you don't usually see, and makes it a really interesting dynamic when they both get a week to rest on their laurels. Hibs will be hoping that they win tonight, because I think that win tonight, tomorrow night. I'm getting too excited, Michael. I hope Hibs will be hoping they win tonight at home to Dundee United. Because if they win that, then they'll have a lot of confidence going into that game. If they draw or they lose, then maybe it's a wee bit more negative and they're a wee bit more sceptical of going to Tynecastle. But I think that'll be an excellent game, and that's the only game on the Tuesday night, so I imagine that game will be on the TV as well. So yeah, there's some massive games coming up across the league, and I'm looking forward to them all.
And obviously, when you win a big game like that Mirren did tonight, Ethan, it's like, what can you do? Can you back it up? And St Mirren's got a big cup game now on Friday night against Airdrie. Now this is going to be an interesting game, because I don't think St Mirren has been to the Airdrie Plastic Park as well, but the shackles are off in terms of the league form. But I mean, if they can get a win, then well, it's 2 wins back to back, and what can they do?
Yeah, exactly. And the Cups have obviously been a place of success for the St Mirren in a season which otherwise has been pretty unsuccessful. So they're the places that the players are confident in these one-off games, and they'll be confident to go to Airdrie and get a win. It won't be easy on that pitch at Excelsior, but I expect them to get the victory, and then they've got a big match next up. Seems like there's just big matches everywhere across the league at this time of the season. They go to Rugby Park a week tomorrow. So that'll be a massive relegation 6-pointer for that relegation playoff place.
By the way, that game is on telly, Hearts and Hibs next week. That is on Premier Sports, and also the night after that, Wednesday night, Murrow against Rangers on Sky Sports. And I mean, when we're talking about the Premiership here, Ethan, don't forget we've got the Championship as well, so it's all kind of like happening as well. But I mean, what do you think Derek McInnes would be saying to his players tonight? Because I don't think he was happy with the match officials.
No, I don't think he was, but I think he probably reflect, and he'll see the incidents back and realise that I don't think Hearts can have many complaints. I don't know. I think some people are sort of thinking that Mikael Mandron's fouled Stuart Finlay in the build up to the red card. I'll have to see that one back again, but I think sometimes these red card incidents, one went Hearts' way a couple of weeks ago. Well, maybe you could say even at the weekend against Dundee United, or in the second game before that against Celtic, and Hearts obviously took advantage. This time they were on the receiving end of it. So I think when the decisions are coming your way, as I said earlier, there's going to be a time where they go against you, and it possibly went against Hearts tonight, but they weren't good enough in the 90 minutes. They didn't deal with being a man down well enough, and St Mirren were thoroughly deserving of their win. So yeah, it'll be a difficult team talk to the players in training, or even tonight immediately after the game, to get them fired up again for the derby. But as I said, the Edinburgh derby shouldn't need much of a team talk to get the players fired up for that. If the Hearts players can't get fired up for that, then what hopes Derek McInnes really got of getting them fired up for anything?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's going to be a long wait for the derby next week, and so is Hibs as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a weird build up to the game, because obviously one team, one or either both or either or the teams are in the Scottish Cup, but now we're in a weird position that the big two in Edinburgh is not in the cup, and it's going to be a kind of weird kind of like build up to the game.
Yeah, exactly that, and obviously you've got the fact that Hearts will want to get revenge because Hibs obviously beat them the last time, and all the things that go into this game, which will make it absolutely excellent. Because although Hibs haven't got any sort of whatever you could say horse in the race for the title race, they'll be hoping just to hold on to that final European place, because I think the teams above them are possibly just too good and too far gone. But they'll want to sort of cancel Hearts' expectations of winning the league title, and I don't think there would be anything better that Hibs could do this season. Being out the Scottish Cup would be even completely derailing Hearts' hopes of a Scottish Premiership title.
Yeah, no, and so I'm going back to St Mirren. I mean, they kind of like deserve that win tonight. They dominated the game for like 93 minutes, and I think early on, Flecko can get up well for the goal.
Yeah, exactly that he did, and I think they just deserved the win tonight, St Mirren, and they dominated Hearts, and so you should when you've got the man advantage, but we know it doesn't always work out like that. So credit to Stephen Robinson and his players, and hopefully they kick on now and they can show the rest of the league that they are a good team, because we know they're capable, but they just haven't done it on a consistent basis, and it must be really frustrating for the St Mirren fans that they find themselves in the league position they do when they know they're on their day, they're capable of beating almost anybody in the Scottish Premiership.
Let's jump into the Championship before we leave you tonight then. Big win at the bottom. Ross County, 9th, Prague 10th tonight, Queen's Park. Ross County won 1-0 away from home in Glasgow. Big win for County tonight.
Yeah, massive win. Obviously, they came into below Queen's Park, but now they leapfrog above them. And Airdrieonians aren't too far away. They're only a point behind. Them, Ross County, with a game in hand. And then even the next sort of pack of teams. There's 7 points, maybe 10 points actually between the playoff, the promotion, the relegation playoff, which is quite a lot when you've only got maybe 12, 13 games left, and growing consistency in the Championship's really difficult. But Ross County, they'll be looking to avoid relegation. I don't know how they really found themselves, and I know obviously they found themselves in this situation because they played terribly throughout the season, but when they got relegated, I don't think anybody expected them to be down the bottom of the Championship. They want to avoid the list of teams to be relegated in back-to-back seasons.
Yep. Just before we go, got to round up all the, well, not all the other games, because there was only one other game on, and that was in the Challenge Cup quarter-final between Arbroath and Airdrie. The game finished 2-2, and Airdrie marches on to the semi-finals as they beat Arbroath. Arbroath won 5-3 in penalties, so there you go. Guys, we were talking about there in the Championship, big win for Ross County tonight, travelling all the way down to Glasgow, and they beat the Queen's Park 1-0. And the final score tonight leaves the Championship wide open. In Scotland, it is St Mirren 1, Hearts 0. So thanks for all your comments tonight. It's been a busy show. We'll be doing it again tomorrow night. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, do so. And the Scottish Football Zone, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 6:40 for the big build-up for the big games in the Premiership tomorrow night. You'll be sick of seeing my face, and you'll be sick of seeing Ethan's face as well. But tough will be here anyway. So join us tomorrow night at 6:40 for the rest of the games. That's to Ethan. Thanks to everybody. It's commenting on the show, and a big win tonight in Paisley for the Buddies. 1-0 to St Mirren against Hearts.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.